So now we're at Zolder with a pair of Ginettas on the front row, although this circuit should suit the cars and points leader Joe Osborne. It was his teammate Nigel Moore who set the time in qualifying in the number 50 car. Hunter Abbott in number 6, Osborne's title rivals, scattered behind on the grid, a situation that plays right into his hands. On board with Nigel Moore at the start of the formation lap. Last time we saw Nigel was at Silverstone as the winner of race 1, and then this car involved in that massive start line pile-up in race 2. So this start could be interesting. And let's remind ourselves that Osborne leads the points table arriving here, and after a good outing at Spa, the Nissan duo of Buncombe and Ordonez are now his closest rivals. The other Belgian circuit wasn't kind to the BMW brigade, so Veltman and Pierre Brice-Mena have got some catching up to do. The pace car's off. We're waiting for the green light above the track to say this race can start, and as soon as it does, overtaking can begin, and it has. They're all shuffling forward, and we've already been jumped by 4 cars. It's Abbott who leads from the Nissan, and then it's Tom Dunstan, and what's happened to Joe Osborne getting shuffled back down the pack as they all come rushing forwards. That's the Maserati of Lorenzo Casse in front of us, the number 40 car entered by AF Corsi. We're in 5th place at the moment, behind the Maserati. Out on the back straight of the Zolder circuit, on the run down to the chicane, classic place for outbraking. Alex Buncombe looks for the opportunity to get the drop on Hunter Abbott, does it nicely. Dunstan can't get through, there's a little bit of a shuffle there, and that was Sounier in the Porsche. I feel sure Ludovic Sounier, that's the Supersport leader, Dennis Donkevort in 103. So we've got a new leader, Abbott, Dunstan, and behind that the Maserati, then it's the Porsche, and then it's Kevin Veltman, then it's Michael Mallock, then it is Nigel Moore. We're on board now looking at the tail end of the Aston Martin, having been shuffled back down the pit field. Lights on, he says he wants to get past, but wanting and being able to do it are different things. This is quite a tight circuit. Can we tiptoe through here on the inside? I don't think so, no. Mallock shuts that door very firmly, and Buncombe now at the end of the lap is easing away from 2nd place. Have a look at this. There's a little bit of air between him and the Ginetta, the number 6 car, red and white, of Hunter Abbott. Behind that Ginetta of Tom Dunstan. Behind that Porsche, Ludo Sud. Oh, through on the inside or not? Veltman goes past Lorenzo Casse. Mallock says, I'll have some of that as well, but no, you won't. I don't think so. And Nigel Moore thinks he'll pounce on Mallock while his attention is occupied with the Maserati. But status quo preserved, everybody keeping their positions in that little scuffle. On the gas hard now on this run down towards the chicane, braking hard right down through the gearbox, squirreling about under brakes. The Nissan's very good at this. The Ginettas are also suited to this circuit. That Porsche's brilliant everywhere. The BMW's got bags of power, and of course Joe Osborne brings all his penalties with him to the number 50 car. It's his 3rd drive of the year, or 3rd car of the year. So Nigel Moore's now really got a handful of Ginetta here, with extra ride height and all kinds of things. So, the curbs jumping behind Mallock in the Aston Martin. Right up underneath, can we get through? On the inside, the Aston Martin's got the power. Buncombe still has the lead, but we're heading towards the pit stops, of course. That's Nico Pronk in the 104 Supersport car there. Tail end of that group. This is Abbott, 2nd place. Dunstan in 3rd place. Sounier, I think, is up to 4th. He's in front of Veltman and Casse, and now in front of Dunstan as well. That's what we've been trying to do in this car, when we've been riding with Nigel Moore, and the Porsche seems to make lighter work of it. It's here, traction out of the corners that the Porsche excels. Put your foot down, and that's Dunstan pulling off. That looks just like a mechanical retirement. Can't see anything damaged on that car, so it looks like he's got a problem. He's out of it. Everyone else goes up one place except the leaders, of course. Buncombe stretching the gap now. Sounier ahead of Abbott up into 2nd place with that Porsche. It's been so fast since it arrived at round 2. will be coming up towards the pit stops. The driver changes. Some drivers are quicker than others, some are slower. So Sounies and Maxime Martin, who will replace him, are pretty much evenly matched. So their pit stop doesn't matter as long as it happens within the window. But other drivers will be handing over to faster or slower partners, and that will influence the time they stop. The slower your partner waiting, the later you want to stop, and vice versa. And of course, different drivers are quicker than others at different circuits, so it's not cast in stone by any means. And Hunter Abbott thought he'd have another stab at the Porsche, doesn't get it. Cassé smoking the Maserati under brakes. Malak being challenged by Nigel Moore, and the Ginetta alongside. Is he alongside? Again, we're having a look, but getting nowhere. And Buncombe doing what he did so well last year, just driving away from the rest of the field. There's the Supersport leader. That's the Aston Martin right at the tail end of the group. That's Pugachev. That's the points leader in Supersport, Augustin Eder, who really only has to drive around and collect a cup of tea at the end to wrap up the title in Portugal. Such was his strength earlier in the year. So Nico Pronk at the tail end of that group will soon find himself being reeled in by the leaders, had it not been for this pit stop time. 65 seconds from pit stop in timer to pit stop out, which is based on an approximate 45 seconds at rest. The team has to work out how long it will take Joe Osborne to get from there to the pits out marker, and then work out when to release him now. And as he leaves the line and goes over the marker, that's when he's timed out of pit lane. If he's quicker than 65 seconds, he'll be called back in to pay a stop-go penalty. But of course, it's the slowing down, it's the transit through the pit lane and the stop-go. There's a problem with that, Nissan? They're looking very interested in the front left of the 14 car. We're back on track now, where just a little snatch under braking for Hunter Abbott's partner now. That's Henry Fletcher in the number 6 car. Ada, points leader, running ahead of the 103 car, so his championship looking very good indeed. But Donkavoort is doing what he needs to keep the title alive. Vladimir Hladik just ahead of the Supersport battle, first man to pit, but now head of a parade. Lucas Ordonez has taken over the 14 car and taken over the lead. He's 6 seconds ahead of that number 6 Ginetta. That was 17. That was Kevin Veltman in 4th. This is going to look like certain victory for Ordonez. Hasn't got far to go, and that is going to close the title gap. They took over the car in 7th place. Osborne's up to 4th though, so it did get closer as Ordonez takes the checkered flag. But what a strong pairing these two have turned out to be as the season has gone on. Let's have a look at the final result then. Malak, a strong 2nd place, backing up that fine result in Spa. 3rd place for Maserati, great for them. DNF for the 55 Porsche, and a win for Ordonez and Buncombe.
Exceptionally pleased. You know, we've worked hard all year, and we've been exceptionally fast all year, but we just haven't quite got the win. But this time it just worked really well, and no problems out on track, and handed over to Lucas in the lead, and he took the race from there really. So yeah, really good.
The title battle then now down to a handful of points, and there's another race to go on a circuit that clearly suits the Nissan and its crew. We're on the grid for the start of race 2 at Zolder. It's round 10 of the GT4 European Cup, and this grid has a familiar look with the blue Ginetta of Joe Osborne on pole and the Aston Martin of Michael Malak alongside. Malak now up to 2nd in the title chase and just 10 points behind Osborne. So this is a vital race for all concerned, but they all have been. We're on board with Kevin Veltman in the number 17 BMW on row 3 and about to start the formation lap. Same story as before, the grid established by qualifying, not by a race result. It's a 40-minute race. There's a compulsory timed pit stop in a prescribed pit window. Get any of that wrong and you will be penalised. Veltman, our camera car at the start of this race, in fact had an 8-second stop-go penalty in the first race, but it cost him a lot more time than that because of slowing down and driving through pit lane, so you don't want to get it wrong. This is another onboard camera view in the number 40 of Lorenzo Casse, one of the young drivers in this championship. It's done its job so well to bring in manufacturers, cars, teams and young drivers, making single-seaters no longer the must-have route to a race driver career. We'll go for round 10 though. Osborne on the run down towards turn 1's got a good start in the blue Ginetta into turn 1. It's a tricky, oh, he's off. It's a tricky corner, I was going to say. It catches a lot of people out, and Osborne passed by just about everybody on the gravel. He saved it as they go bumping into this first corner, and he will rejoin, but that is really not what he wanted for this so important championship outing. Riding with Lorenzo Casse now. We've been bundled back a bit as well. I'm not sure that would have happened to a more experienced driver at that moment. Over the hill, Malik in the lead, Dunstan behind him, Veltman with Ordonez alongside in the Nissan, under brakes, they're alongside, he bounces over the curb, they touch, and through goes Maxime Martin. Veltman waving his fist at Ordonez, he thinks he's been pushed aside, and Maxime Martin, oh, and there goes the other BMW, I think that was Pierre Brice-Mena, or was it the Maserati? Let's have a look. It was PBM who went through. There's the Maserati behind. So it's Maxime Martin, the opportunist, who grabbed the advantage in that corner and took 2 places. Kevin Veltman was too busy waving his fist at Ordonez, who went spanking through there a little ambitiously, and I think the car just moved across a lot further when it bounced over the curbs. I'd call that a racing incident. I'm sure Kevin Veltman will call it something else, and Ordonez will have another opinion. Malik from Dunstan, Maxime Martin in 3rd place, and up to 12th now at the end is Joe Osborne. So that big run off in turn 1 cost him as we ride with Veltman looking at the back end of Pierre Brice-Mena. And the number 18 BMW just beginning to get away from him. Malik, Dunstan and Martin. Oh, lots of smoke as Lorenzo Casse says, I'll have some of that. I saw it done on the previous lap and I'd like to try my hand at it. Doesn't work. Veltman staying with him. And he will have track position actually now. Look, round the left-hander. It's going to turn right here, hard under brakes. And Veltman, if he's there, and there he is, has got track position. And so Lorenzo Casse will have to rethink his move on the BMW for somewhere else on the track, or just a little bit more power as they come around at the end of another lap. Malik has now got Maxime Martin right underneath the rear wing of the Aston Martin. Maxime Martin has moved up into 2nd, a very aggressive looking 2nd place. Dunstan 3rd and Ordonez 4th. Then it's PBM and Martin on the inside. Through he goes. New race leader. They went out of race 1 with a tyre problem, but looking good now. Augustin Ada leads the Greek driver Athanasios in Supersport, but again, Augustin Ada really just needs to drive round waving on his way to the championship. He's done all the hard work at the beginning of the season. He might not wrap it up here, but he can have a nice relaxing drive at the final round in Portugal. On board with Casse, still thinking about a way past, but I think the BMW now is just beginning to edge away. Kevin Veltman using all of those 500 horsepower, and look at this, Maxime Martin's not getting it easy. Malik hasn't given up. On board with Veltman. That's so difficult turn 1. Look, it is really treacherous and deceiving, and you need to put in quite a lot of track time here to get that one right. Turning right now and heading out towards Bianchi Bot, the corner named after Belgium's Le Mans winner Lucien Bianchi, father of Jules Bianchi, winning everything in Formula 3 Euro Series at the moment. Track order here is pretty much the same as always, as the past 3 laps anyway. Ordonez getting quite racy behind Dunstan, and Pugachev in the Aston Martin caught up in the Supersport battle here as it comes forward. They get their own grid, They qualify wherever they can, but they form a separate grid at the back of the field, so you will see them coming forward. Maxime Martin still leads it. Malek is still second. Dunstan is still third. That went out with a tyre problem in race 1 as well. Dunstan's number 5, the dark blue Ginetta. So 2 cars had tyre issues in the opening race, and this circuit appears to be quite hard on tyres as Ordonez has another look at Dunstan. And Maxime Martin tries to put in some clean, hard laps and make the break from Michael Malek in that number 32. Lorenzo Casse a lot smoother into this turn than we saw just now with Kevin Veltman. Got the line and everything right. Veltman just a little bit too fast on the approach. Pits in. This is Maxime Martin handing over to Ludovic Sounier. And Sounier, of course, we've seen is pretty much equal to Martin in the car. And they look as if there's a problem with that Nissan there. Nobody's running about. There's Ordonez in the car, and they've got plenty of time because the whole point of this is not to rush the pit stop. Out goes Ludovic Sounier on track. This is Pierre Brice-Menin, no driver change, so he just has to sit there while the team work the stopwatch. Back out on track goes the Nissan. Here's your race leader. The pit stops scramble things up because there is a 10-minute window. Not everybody stops at the same time, as we say. So you'll find that some people are still out while others have just come out and are a lap out of place and a bit of track position out of place. Need that all to settle down. There is Lorenzo Casse, for example, in the middle of that battle. But it's nothing to do with him. He is effectively about 4 places further up the field. Back into pit lane. Both drivers are out of the Nissan. So it looks as though that's retirement, and that looks like a tyre issue on the front left for them as we go back on board with Kevin Veltman. Oh, and off. Almost on the last lap goes the number 3 Aston Martin, so close to the checkered flag for Pugachev, but well and truly mired in the gravel trap as the checkered flag is raised, and over the line goes Ludovic Sounier. 0 to hero for the Ice Pole Racing team, the Porsche crew. That fine win underlines just how strong this car and driver pairing are and how hard they would have been to beat if they joined this championship at the start of the season. There's the final result there, and this leaderboard is going to make a lot of people very happy. The winner's sure, but enough points here for Osborne in 5th, plenty of points for Malek in 3rd to keep him in touch, but no points for Buncombe and Ordonez or Pierre Brice-Menin either. So now the championship leaderboard looks like a 3-way fight, although mathematically PBM could still win, although Sounier and Martin definitely can't.
A very good job with all the team. I took a quite good start. I was 3rd at the first round, 1st at the second round, so it was great, and the car was fantastic. So yeah, and then Ludovic did a very good job at the end. So yeah, fantastic win.